Okay, so welcome Krisstina Wise, founder of the Good Life Team, which is this awesome, amazing, totally hip and trendy brokerage in Austin, Texas. I've been a fan of yours for so long. I just think what you're doing is innovative and creative, and you're knocking it out of the park. I mean, you're so successful. You're involved with Inman now, and you're speaking at all these conferences, and now you've also created this Coffee with Krisstina. And I'm really curious about first of all, where that came from, how you kind of got started, and where you're going with it.
Okay, well, it's actually somewhat of a funny story. Is that what's happened? Well, first of all, what the Good Life Team is, it's a residential real estate firm here in Austin, Texas, and we were early adopters to the social media game and innovators when it came to using some different technologies, and really we've been able to put into play technology and media, digital media and digital marketing, and because we adopted a lot of these technologies early on, we've been able to lead with those in our marketplace. Our web presence, over 55% of our business from Good Life Team business is generated from the web. As you know, we have a pretty prolific brand as far as social networking and marketing. And so anyway, we've been able to continually grow month over month. We've only been around in Austin, Texas for 4 years, and so we're entrepreneurial even in that sense in the residential real estate space, but we have all these little wins. And I think what that shows is that by the way that we put into play these different technologies and how we back that up with our different model at the Good Life Team, it is a model that's working, at least in Austin, Texas.
You have a couple of really big wins as well. For instance, why don't you tell us quickly about your Inman Awards? And also, there's a little Apple hat tip there and an Evernote hat tip. What are those happening?
Well, Inman really put us on the map, and that was because we went on the edge with our website. With our first Good Life Team website, when we came out of the gate as a new company, a new real estate brand, independent brand, is that we did focus on the website. So at the time, we were one of the first companies, real estate brokerages in the entire country, or real estate agents for that matter, to use WordPress in a customized WordPress platform. What happened with Apple is that they were looking to small businesses that were using an iPad as a fundamental tool of how their business operates. And they had heard about us through the real estate vertical, so they came and spent a couple days, and the Good Life Team ended up being in an Apple commercial.
Very exciting. Very exciting. And now Evernote has, I'm sorry, I can't remember. You are what with Evernote?
Evernote Ambassador.
Evernote Ambassador.
I think we find certain technologies, and then we get really into them, and Evernote's one of those. So my entire organization runs out. And then what happens is I usually discover different technologies on my own, on my own. Usually it's through you or Inman or however I bump into these different cool tools or technologies, and then I'll play with them, or Jack, my CTO, will play with them, and then we'll recognize like, wow, this is a really cool technology or solution or whatever you want to call it. And then I always look at, okay, now how do I fold that into my company? How do I incorporate this technology? Because it's not about the shiny pennies around here. Like, we have to sell real estate at the end of the day, otherwise we go broke and my kids don't eat. So this is all about real estate. This is about transactions. It's about helping my agents succeed so we as a company succeed. And at the end of the day, it's all about how many buyers and sellers we help sell their houses. I'm in the real estate business every single day. That's what I do. And Evernote, I learned pretty quickly, like, wow, this is a super cool tool, again, that I think all of my agents can use to enable them to be more efficient, to be more organized. We can have all our client files in Evernote. And I went to think about and really design what would be the most effective way for them to do that. And then we taught our agents how to use Evernote, and then it becomes a standard practice of the entire organization. And so you would see all of the Good Life Team agents on their iPad. You'll see them all use Evernote. And we have a standard system that everybody more or less uses, and it might be customized bit by every single agent. But overall, everybody uses these tools pretty similarly, where we've created the standard practice. So again, Evernote got word of that in the real estate vertical, how we're using this Evernote as a tool for our business beyond just one person, but from an entire organization, really is a new concept for them. So they invited us to be ambassadors for the Evernote brand for the real estate vertical to really show and teach other agents how we're using Evernote effectively. So hopefully, their product can be used and recognized within our very cool real estate vertical.
So, which brings us back to, you are now known and revered in the vertical space, in the real estate vertical, sorry, for implementing systems and for building a successful boutique brokerage in such a short amount of time, and not just what appears to be successful, because again, so many of us can have, wear the coat of looking successful in social media. It's so easy, but you're actually achieving profitability. You're growing year over year. In your 4 short years, you've climbed how high?
Well, we're certainly a top recognized brand in Austin, Texas now, and that's been over 4 short years. We are profitable every single month, and we are growing. We're highly selective. But I think the difference is that where other brokerages are sending their agents out to try to learn these things, I'm the one going out learning them, then I'm bringing them home and creating some sort of company practice out of that so that all of my agents learn together, and then they are all using all of our tools and systems and technologies the same way that enables us to be highly effective and highly efficient. And there's the good life way of doing things here. There's not, I think we have 13 agents. We don't have 13 agent ways of doing things. We have the good life way of doing things that we work to invent to make it the most effective, the most efficient, the most powerful, very highly selective with what technologies we choose. We vet them, we test them before we'd ever recommend them to our agent. So our agents are getting this from the top down versus us sending them out there saying, oh, go figure that stuff out on your own. And I attribute that to our success, our early success, and our velocity to which we're achieving these things in a relatively short period of time. And it's because it's coming. This is where we think is the best way to do it. We teach that, and then our agents trust us, they embrace it, and then they go transact with it. Because again, I'm all about performance, so I don't really care. I haven't figured out Pinterest, how to make money with it yet. So once I figure out how to make money, my agents will use Pinterest. But right now I'm telling them, don't worry about Pinterest. We'll let the rest of the real estate community be very, waste a bunch of hours on that. I'll test it, and I'll study it, and I'll read what others are doing, and I'll watch the social media space. And if I see something that I think where Pinterest will become a very good tool for all, either just for the company and or for our agents, then we'll invent the best practices around that, and then we teach that. But in the meantime, my agents don't care about Pinterest because I haven't figured out a way for them to make money with it.
Right. So long story short, you've created this huge fan base. I, of course, being the president of your fan club, and you've done these amazing things. You've achieved huge goals, and now because you've done this, you've built this fan base that is coming to you and saying, "Hey, Krisstina, how did you do that? What's your model? Can you share some of your tips and your tricks on how you did that?"
That's exactly what's happened, and that's where Coffee with Krisstina came from. And the name came from exactly that, Terry, is that where it really began is that people were coming to Austin because now Austin's a popular place, South by Southwest. The Keller headquarters are here, so a lot of Keller agents always come in. And anyway, they're ACL. There's all these different events now and conventions that are bringing people to Austin. And so on a weekly basis, I might be getting, at first it wasn't very many, but then all of a sudden we almost became inundated with people saying, "Hey, I'm going to be in Austin. I'd love to have coffee with Krisstina," to pick her brain. And at first it weren't that many, so no big deal. But then we realized, like, holy cow, there's so many agents out there that really do want to know what we're doing. Because I think what we're showing is that we haven't figured out everything. We've got a long way to go. We're at the very beginning of our goals and our ambitions of what we want to do.
Right.
But where we are successful is that we're figuring out things, and that we're turning it into the practical application of what works in terms of generating new business and or satisfying customers in a in a better way. So that's really where the genesis of Coffee with Krisstina is. That then it wasn't so much coffee anymore, but then all these emails and what do you do here, what do you do there, and I had to develop it into something separate because there was just too much of us for us to keep up with and still be able to achieve our goals in Austin with the Good Life team, which is obviously to sell a lot of real estate. So that's where Coffee with Krisstina came from. And the idea that once I developed it into more than what it was, is then I realized, like, oh, I get it. It's really great that we have all these different conferences and we have all these gurus up on stage, and they're out there, they're learning the latest and greatest, and they're always ahead of the curve. They always know what's coming. And we need them on stage to tell us, okay, this is coming, this is where mobile's going, this is where web's going, these are the new shiny pennies that we're watching, because that's certainly who I learned from. Right. But what I recognized is that either a few different things. Either the people on stage had never been in real estate, or the people on stage had once been in real estate, but they got out, which that's okay. But what I saw is that what there wasn't enough of, even if it existed at all, is anybody that is teaching things that are actually working in the real estate space. So what Coffee with Krisstina is not to be the guru, meaning I go to the gurus for that, to learn from. I go to Chris Smith because he always teaches me something that I would never figure out on my own. But then it's how to take what we're doing, is like how to take what Chris Smith knows and turn it into practical, applying it to our business, and then how do we turn that into money? Right. And that's what Coffee with Krisstina is saying, we're not the gurus, we're not the shiny pennies, we learn from these people, but what I'm going to share with you is what we're doing, our actual models, our processes, our systems, our technologies, what tools we use, why we use them, what our metrics are, what our return is, how much did we invest. Don't do that, I lost $100,000 there, like, I'll just save you from writing that check. We tried to figure it out and it didn't work. Yeah. So that's it. Where Coffee with Krisstina is, it's a place for agents or brokers that want to learn how we're practically applying all the stuff in the marketplace right now. And that's it. It's I'll share everything we're doing. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Just be part of our community and membership, and there's different levels of that. But it will be the one place where I'm not going to tell you to use one vendor I don't actually write a check to. I'm not going to endorse certain relationships if I don't put my own name behind them. Right. Just so that there's lots of places to go, but this is a different place where when it comes to turning it into transactions, or at the end of the day, whatever we have to do. Converting dollars. Thank you. That's what I'll share with you from how we're doing it. And I know that we don't have all the best answers. So that's where I think it can be a really great community, is like, oh my gosh, that's so great. Have you thought about doing it this way? And man, if it'll work, we'll change it like that. And then hopefully everybody would be better off with that. But this is about how to do this in real estate in order to succeed.
Crazy idea.
I know.
I love it. I'm such a huge fan, and part of the reason that we're doing this interview is because you've reached out to a few people and said, this is a program that we're working on, and I want to be really clear with people that this is an affiliation program, and that there are sales that can happen here, and that's pretty exciting for me, because I'll tell you what, I've never been affiliated with another program before. I've never frankly wanted to get my name behind another program before. This is hands down the first thing that I've seen in our real estate space that has so much unbelievable value, that I completely believe in what you're building and how you're building it. And even if nobody ever implemented a single solitary thing that you taught, just the fact that it's so revolutionary, it's really, I think it's looking around the corner to how different models could maybe be built, and there's huge value here. I'm excited to be a part of this program, and I'm excited to see where you're going to take it.
Well, and I'm such a fan of yours too, Terry. So for you to be behind us is such a compliment to what we're doing, because your name, your reputation speaks volumes. And so thank you, and it's an honor to be in business with you.
Well, thank you so much. I think this is going to be great for people to understand kind of what you're trying to build and what we're trying to do for you. So again, congratulations on Coffee with Krisstina and the membership program. I think it's going to be very successful, and I wish you all the best luck.
Well, thank you so much.